What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I am the Sports Judge. Many eye-popping upsets in Week 2. The parity is strong in the NFL. And throughout the league, teams are tightly matched. And so are the games. Good afternoon, sports fans. What's up? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for taking the time out of your day. Really appreciate it. Monday Night Football, Falcons versus Eagles. We're going to get right into it. After a critical third down drop by Saquon Barkley with 1:46 left in the fourth quarter, Kirk Cousins led the Falcons on a game-winning drive. Yeah, that guy. I don't think he's that quarterback who is going to give you that all the time. He's not going to come to the rescue all the time. That's just not what Kirk Cousins does. See, that's the thing with Cousins. And that's what I think people are starting to come to realize. While he may deliver and come through in the clutch from time to time, a lot of times he's like a box of chocolate. You just never know what you're going to get. Monday night, you got Mr. Clutch. Next week, you might get a completely reckless version of Kirk Cousins. You know, he might look like a completely different quarterback. All of that aside, I think what we should be talking about and what we will talk about are the Eagles blowing this game. The notion that this is a Super Bowl contending team is insane to me after what we saw from them last night. They're not playing like a title contender. They're not. They just have stars all over the roster. To me, it's not even about the names on your roster. It's about being able to pull it together and win games. This is a team that got to the Super Bowl, and it wasn't that long ago. And can you tell me who the quarterback was that led that team to a Super Bowl? It was Jalen Hurts. And if you're one of if you're one of these Eagles fans who are looking for other people's pain to make you happy because your team lost in dramatic fashion as Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons go down the field and win in the fourth quarter, you gotta feel a little bit okay. Like, look, even though that loss last night sucked, because it did, you're 1-1 on the season. I mean, it's still early. It's still plenty of season left. I mean, it could be worse. You could be 0-2 to start the season. Somebody is always worse than you. One thing that has to stop, and I know most of you are with me on this, is Jalen Hurts turning over the ball at an alarming rate. Now, he did do a better job on Monday night. You know, I thought he played a much cleaner game. We got that from him. But, you know, time after time after time after time again, you put Jalen Hurts in a position where he could not succeed. That's on coaching, okay? If you don't feel great about him being your quarterback, great. You know, I believe in Jalen Hurts. I have a lot of faith in the man. I think the coaching has to do a better job here. That's something you have to live with if you don't feel great about Jalen Hurts. There's nothing I can do for you. I don't think we'll learn much about Jalen Hurts until about week 5, how impactful he is and whether or not the Eagles make it to the playoffs and he is a big part of it. It's still early. We're just starting the season. Hurts obviously is a big part of their offense, maybe the most important player. And quite frankly, you're going to hear a lot of Philadelphia fans because we all know how they are. We know how those people are in Philadelphia. We know how passionate of a fan base they are, and they can be a little rowdy at times. They can get a little carried away. We know that about them. You're going to hear them complaining about the play that was called between Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley that ended up losing the game. When we talk about that play call, a coach's job is to put the players in a position to succeed. The call was perfect. The play by design got someone wide open. The pass was there. A big drop by Saquon in part led to them losing the game. That's what happened on that third down play. If Barkley had not dropped it, I bet you people today in Philly wouldn't be bitching and whining about it being a terrible call. They run this play 1,000 times in practice. They've been practicing this play for this particular moment, for moments like this. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't anything new. This is not anything they haven't seen before. Unfortunately, Barkley, instead of securing the ball, he bobbled the ball, couldn't hold on to Hurts' short pass, and the ball was placed perfectly in the hands of Saquon Barkley. I had no problem with them passing on third down in that situation. I really had no problem with it. Catch the football and the game is over. It goes right off Saquon's hands. You know, these plays are practiced over and over and over again. It happens. He just couldn't make the play. It happens. This was an easy first down for the Eagles. This was a situation where you got one play, you got your two best players, you make the play, and the game is over. Ball game. You know, that's it. The game would have been over. You just needed that one play to win the game and just couldn't finish it. Just couldn't finish it. It was a perfect throw by Jalen Hurts, and Saquon takes his eyes off the ball and it just goes off his hands. Just couldn't make the play. And after the game, as he spoke to reporters, Saquon took ownership, shouldered the blame for the team's 22-21 loss to the Falcons. I mean, we can go back and forth and have this conversation. Should they had called a passing play in that moment? You know, I mean, we can have this discussion and go back and forth about it. I think there are a lot of people pissed off. There's a lot of people pissed off. They're even more furious and wondering what the Eagles were thinking on third down with 1:46 remaining and no timeouts. Could they have ran Saquon? Absolutely, they could have. If you had come short, what? If you had come short, they could have run their QB sneak. And that's something Jalen Hurts does well. I thought it was a great play call. I don't think that was the only reason they lost the game. Never mind that the Eagles couldn't stop the run. Never mind that the defense looked like a high school team on that last drive. Never mind that the secondary had all kinds of trouble. Never mind that Philly let Kirk Cousins play 7-on-7. Never mind that Hurts had to throw deep inside, or had to throw deep instead of calling for some intermediate pass play to get 12 to 15 yards. No run stop ability, no pass rush. Man, I can go on about this Eagles defense. How about Vic Fangio, who was brought in to resurrect this defense and give the Eagles a new offensive identity? And yeah, you can try to blame Saquon, play calling, coaching, Hurts' final pass. None of them come close to the defensive issues that nobody is talking about. You got a 20-year veteran that got outcoached by a first-year play caller. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I don't know how much you read into it, but it feels like this defense still has a lot of issues. Run defense is really bad. It was atrocious. The pass rush is non-existent. Massive holes for the running back. To me, Huff and Smith have been lacking. This might be one of the worst defensive lines the Eagles have had in quite some time. And today, we're talking about that one drop, that one play. I like the play. If you convert on third down, again, if you convert on third, you had a field goal in your pocket. For me, I was happy to see Jalen Hurts do what he did. You know, he didn't play great in the first game that he had. Came out in game 2, cleaned up a lot of things, and quite frankly, played a great game before the interception. You know, I thought he had a better night than he did in week 1. And you saw a guy at the end of the game do everything he could to get the ball to his playmakers. And yes, he is still accountable for making a bad decision in a big moment of the game. But he made some difficult throws and made huge plays with his legs. A bright spot for the Eagles, for sure, despite the loss. That's what you want to see from your quarterback. An incomplete pass on third was the only realistic chance the Falcons had at stealing that game from the Eagles, and they did just that. That drop pass from Saquon Barkley might have saved the Atlanta Falcons season. That one drop pass might have changed everything for the Falcons and the Eagles, and it definitely decided the outcome of the game. But the Eagles had other problems, not just that drop pass. The Eagles have a lot of defensive issues. The quarterback is not only the problem. Saquon Barkley's drop wasn't only the problem. The defense let them down as well. And I mean, you saw Kirk Cousins, man. He just surgically dissected that defense. I mean, he just picked them apart. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's a lot of defensive flaws with this team. And the Eagles, man, they got a lot of work to do. And now they got a chance to turn it around in the next game. Hopefully it's a better outcome for them. But, man, the Eagles still look like the team they were last season. There's really no identity. We really don't know who this team is. I don't even think they know who they are themselves, you know? So they lose a tough game at home against an Atlanta Falcons team that is expected to, you know, win their division this year and get into the playoffs and do great things with Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. But yeah, that was a tough loss for the Philadelphia Eagles last night. It really was. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate the love and support. Thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks for taking the time out of your day. You guys are very dedicated and devoted. I really appreciate that. We'll talk soon again. I'm getting out of here now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for keeping up with the content. It's your boy, the Sports Judge. It's been real. We'll talk next time.